Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Fernandez and welcome to my channel, I Live to Inspire Mental Health. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. I make videos about mental health and my experience with bipolar disorder and OCD. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about what are the green flags that we should be looking out for when recruiting for a new job in regards to how friendly they are towards mental health. This video is actually based on a comment by Juan Colmenares, who suggested that I make a video based on my experience with my current employer, who actually has a lot of different benefits for mental health. And I think from that experience, I've gained a little bit of insight on how to tell if a company will be good for your mental health. Of course, caveat that there are many different things and life situations that can alter our mental health, affect it, and no place is perfect. But I do believe that there are some things that can significantly help the chances of an employee being happy and healthy in their everyday life, since we spend most of our time at work during the weekdays. I also want to say that, it's hard to tell 100% what that will be like working for this company and how it'll impact your mental health until you actually work there. Like I said before, there are probably a few things I will say a lot in regards to what that experience might be like. I also want to say that I understand and I know that I have a lot of privilege in where I work and the things that they do, and that might not be the reality for a lot of different places. But I am hopeful that right now, we're in a moment where mental health is becoming such a big topic in many places, and that's leading to a change in the workforce, and hopefully as many more people encourage it, or if you're somebody who has some type of power where you work and think that this would be beneficial or want to, I encourage you to be an advocate to trying to make a change, to trying to implement some of the things that we're going to be talking about, to help people feel better, happier, and supported throughout their mental health journey. So I think number one is to do your research on the benefits of the company. A Google search could get you a long way by understanding what current employees or former employees are saying. There's a lot of different websites that try to understand that, and where people leave comments, and there's also places where it'll tell you, they have this benefit, that benefit. For example, where I work, we have the benefit of getting free sessions of therapy per year, and there's a whole lot of different things to support for mental health, whether it's support groups or this and that. So that's something that can probably be found online. So it's really important to be able to do that research, and that also goes along the way of trying to reach out to people who work there. Now, regarding that, I do have to say that companies, especially if it's a big company, will have, I would say, microcultures. So although they're different teams throughout the company might have similarities, there will also be very much differences. I would think maybe the culture in an engineering space in a company versus a marketing space might be a little different. So it's important for you to talk to people who are very specific to what you do, to try and understand what the atmosphere is like. So I guess bundled up in that research is also reaching out to people who could be your colleagues or who used to work there. I think that one of the best places to do that is through LinkedIn. I found that people tend to be honest about their experiences, and today more than ever there is value in that vulnerability of asking about mental health. What are the resources that they offer? Is this somewhere that I could see myself, that I could find wellness on the long term? So having those conversations is super important to understanding that. I think that you can also probably realize by talking to different employees, if they're happy, if they're not happy. And I believe that the way that an employer takes care of your mental health has a huge impact on your day-to-day wellness. Some of the different things that I found helpful have been, for example, the ability to have those therapy sessions that I mentioned before, the ability to, I took a month off of work on disability leave because my mental health is not doing really well, and having that time to myself to take care of myself was super important to me, and I'm super grateful for that. What else? We have support groups. A bunch of us just get together, talk about our experiences, support each other. There's a really great community of people. I can genuinely say that I work with amazing people who are so supportive, who are so open and willing to help, and that to me means the world, because that's helped me during hard times with my mental health. And it's those things, definitely the groups, having that support, being able to take that time off, being able to get that help, all of those things contribute so much to wellness, so much to putting mental health first above all. And it's like having that, it's, to me, it's been so important to have people who are like, okay, you need to take this day off because you're not doing well with your mental health. That's okay. So those types of things are super, super, super great and a privilege to have. And like I said in the beginning, I hope that these kind of things will become the norm and not the exception, in everywhere we work, because I think that would lead to a lot of healthier people. I also gotta say that on that note, with the benefits of a company, a lot of it is also us using it. So for example, I think something that I do that has helped me survive a lot of different things is that I'm very open and vulnerable with people, and that has led me to develop very meaningful relationships at work, outside of work, where we talk about these things, about mental health. And I've realized how many people, more than we all could think, are going through this kind of stuff, that we're not alone. And to me, it's been so meaningful to be able to connect with people who work at the same place, who have the same things, the same experiences, because we can support each other in such a specific but meaningful way. So I've really put myself out there to get that help, to use those resources, and that's what's made a whole world of difference on my mental health. I think another way of gauging what the mental health space looks like at this company, this can be kind of bold to do, but asking about it during the interview process. I think that, like I said before, we're coming into a more open space where mental health is more talked about by everyone. People are more vulnerable, and I think I've seen it, which makes me really excited. It was intern season just not too long ago, and these interns that came in, they were so passionate about mental health, about wellness, about taking care of themselves and taking care of others, and that made me so excited, because it was at their forefront in choosing where to work or where to do this and that. So that makes me really hopeful that we're headed in the right direction. And me personally, all interviews that I ever did, I would be like, hey, I have a YouTube channel, I talk about mental health, I struggle with this, I struggle with that, and I would see kind of what they would react like. And I know that that's not something that could be done by just anyone, or it's easy or anything like that. But for me, I was able to tell a lot by talking about mental health with the person that was interviewing me, about how it was perceived, and that said a lot about whether I could be myself or not in the company. But I think another way to twist it, instead of saying oh, I'm diagnosed with all this kind of stuff, would be asking, hey, what's the culture in this company around mental health? Is that something that's talked about? Is that something that there's benefits for? I think that's a good question to ask, and to kind of see what they say, and then make your decisions based on that. Now, I do want to say, like I said at the beginning, mental health, there's so many different things that could affect us. There's so many different things that could make us feel down, feel sad, become depressed, and even by having all these benefits. And I think that's just because that's life. Sometimes, there are so many different factors, what specifically you're doing at your job, or if you're going through something personally, or if there's something in that place that's just not working out. There's so many different little things that could still, it's not the benefits are going to cure everything, but it does make a big impact in having the flexibility to say, hey, I need help, I'm going to get that help, I'm going to decide what to do next, to have that space for yourself, to put yourself first. So generally, I found that even on my team right now, something that I've really liked is that there is so much okay, let's talk about what's affecting people. We want to make sure that people are well. We want to make sure that people are taking care of themselves. We have a mental health day per month, so basically, we can just take a day off to have a mental health day. We just, you know, whatever you end up doing with that is just a wellness day. So those like little things matter so much to me, and even within the same company that varies like from team to team. But yeah, I think that the biggest thing that I could encourage you to do is to put your mental health first. Try to find places that, you know, have at least some type of flexibility when it comes to you being able to take care of yourself when you need it. If you're in a position of power, like I said at the beginning, trying to maybe implement some of these things, advocate for some of these things, start a group at work. We have like many groups that are anonymous, so it's like, you know, people from the company, but like nobody else, nobody talks about the things that are talked about in that group. It's like very much based on respect and just being there for other people. So if you are able to do that for others and for yourself, then that is amazing, and I completely encourage that. And I hope that that's like the biggest takeaway from this video, that, you know, these are the things to look out for, and that mental health is super important in our wellness and our happiness every day. And that, you know, if you can make that difference, then I 100% encourage you to do so, because it'll not only help you, but it'll help so many other people, because many times we walk around in life thinking that we're the only ones going through something, and then when we open up ourselves a little bit towards others, we start realizing that we're not so lonely, that there are so many just like us going through these things, struggling, who also think that they're by themselves, but they're not. And if we all come together, it's so much better, and we can find, you know, we give advice to each other, we are just there. Sometimes we just need someone to listen, or just to feel not alone. So I hope that you liked this video. I hope that you found it helpful somehow. If you did, please don't forget to share it, like it, and don't forget to subscribe. And always remember that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and a bad day does not mean a bad life.